Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, The Glammed Rebel. I hope everyone's having a good day. Please like, comment, and subscribe for daily updates. Truths, lies, and a rescue at sea. A bold and the beautiful tale of revelation and redemption. The early August sun hovered over Los Angeles, casting a deceptive peace across the city. But within the lives of the Forrester, Spencer, and Logan families, peace was anything but present. Secrets, betrayals, and heartbreak were bubbling under the surface. And this week, those hidden truths were poised to erupt in spectacular fashion. The secret that could kill. John Finnegan had seen a lot in his career. As a doctor, he had worked countless hours in operating rooms, stood at the edge of life and death, and witnessed unimaginable resilience in the face of tragedy. But nothing could have prepared him for the deception that now sat in front of him. Grace Buckingham. She had cornered him at the hospital, trying to speak in hushed tones like that would somehow absolve the weight of her actions. Her voice trembled as she pleaded, "We can keep this between us, Finn. No one else needs to know." But Finn's jaw tightened. "Grace, this isn't something you just keep quiet about. You faked a terminal brain tumor. You made Liam believe he was dying. You manipulated Bill Spencer out of $1 million. This isn't medicine. This is fraud. It's cruelty." She looked like a woman unraveling, her once proud composure cracking beneath the weight of guilt and desperation. "You don't understand. I had no choice. They were threatening me if I didn't come up with the money. I don't care what your reasons were. You hurt people I care about, and now you're going to make it right." Before she could protest, Finn grabbed his coat and turned toward the door. "You're coming with me. Now." The confession. The Spencer mansion was quiet that afternoon, the air tinged with tension even before Finn and Grace arrived. Hope Logan sat beside Liam on the couch, her hand gently curled around his. Liam's world had been upended recently, not just by the false diagnosis, but by the emotional turmoil it had brought. He'd said his goodbyes. He'd started to make peace with his fate, and then the treatment stopped working, or so he thought. So when Finn stepped through the door with Grace beside him, Liam's brows furrowed in confusion. "What's going on?" Hope stood up, instinctively putting a protective hand on Liam's shoulder. Finn didn't waste time. "There's something you need to hear, and it needs to come from Grace." Grace's lips quivered as she stepped forward. She looked at Liam, at Hope, and then down at the ground. "Liam, I lied. About everything. You don't have brain cancer. You never did." The room froze. Liam blinked, shaking his head slowly. What are you talking about?" "I forged the test results. I made it look like you had a tumor. And then I told Bill that an experimental treatment was your only hope. He gave me the money, $1 million. The silence was deafening. Hope gasped. Why? Why would you do something so cruel?" Grace was crying now. "Because I was drowning. I owed money to people who don't forgive easily. I thought I could fix everything if I just got one break. I didn't think it would go this far." Liam's voice was quiet but deadly. "You let me believe I was dying. I said goodbye to my daughter." "I know. I'm sorry. I am so sorry." But sorry wasn't enough. Not this time. The unspoken goodbye. Across town, Lee Finnegan sat beside her niece, Luna Nozoa, whose motionless body lay hooked up to machines. Her coma had stretched on for days now, and the silence in the room was deafening, filled only by the steady rhythm of the monitors. Lee brushed a strand of hair from Luna's forehead and whispered, "You're not done yet, sweetheart. You're a fighter. I know you can hear me." The normally stoic doctor's eyes were rimmed with tears. "I won't let this be the end for you. I won't." The medical staff had started to lose hope. The prognosis had begun to darken, but Lee clung to her own instincts and to love. "I still believe in miracles," she murmured, "and you're overdue for one." The ring and the race. In the sun-drenched hills of Italy, another storm was brewing. one built not of deception but desperation. Eric Forrester stood on a terrace outside his villa, the Mediterranean Sea glittering below. He was holding something small in his palm, a velvet box. When Ridge joined him, Eric didn't mince words. "I saw Nick with this. He's planning to propose to Brooke." Ridge's face paled. "What?" "I saw him holding it. You know Nick, once he gets an idea in his head." Ridge didn't need to hear more. His heart thundered in his chest. He'd come to Italy hoping to find clarity, but the thought of Brooke becoming Mrs. Marone again lit a fire in his veins. "I have to stop this," Ridge muttered, already moving. "I have to find her." Eric watched him go with a sigh. "Be careful, son. She has to want to be saved." On the edge, out on the open water, Brooke Logan clutched the railing of Nick Marone's yacht. The sun shimmered on the sea, the Italian coastline a postcard in the distance. But Brooke wasn't smiling. Nick had been acting strange, restless, almost manic. "Nick, slow down. You're turning too sharp," she shouted, her voice swept away by the wind. But Nick just laughed. "Come on, Logan. Where's your sense of adventure?" He cranked the wheel again, and the yacht pitched violently. Brooke lost her footing. The world tilted. Her body slammed against the side of the boat, and then with a splash she was gone. Nick shouted, "Brooke!" But it was too late. She was in the water, flailing, her arms slicing through the waves in panic. And then, from the shore, a voice cut through the chaos. "Logan!" Ridge. He had found her. The rescue. Without hesitation, Ridge dove from the dock. The water was cold, but adrenaline surged through him as he swam toward the bobbing figure in the distance. He could see her arms, barely above the surface. She was struggling, choking on seawater. "Hold on, I've got you!" Ridge shouted as he reached her. He wrapped one arm around her chest and started pulling her back. Her body was limp but conscious, her breath ragged against his shoulder. They made it back to the dock, where Eric and a deckhand helped lift her out. Brooke coughed violently, her hair soaked, her eyes wide with shock. What happened?" she gasped. "You fell," Ridge said. "Or Nick let you fall." Her gaze shifted to the yacht, where Nick now stood frozen, a mixture of guilt and panic on his face. "You could have killed her," Ridge snapped. Nick said nothing. Reckonings. Back in Los Angeles, the fallout from Grace's confession was spreading. Bill Spencer had learned the truth, and his fury was volcanic. He stormed into the hospital where Grace was being held for questioning. $1 million, he growled. "You con me. You let me think my son was dying. I didn't mean." He cut her off. "You're going to pay for this, Grace. Every cent, every sleepless night, every tear my family shed." Meanwhile, Liam remained in a haze of disbelief. He couldn't yet wrap his mind around the idea that he wasn't dying, that he had time again. Hope stood beside him, still reeling. "It's like waking up from a nightmare," she whispered. He nodded slowly and said, "Only I don't know where the dream ends and real life begins. Ends and real life begins." Wounds and watersheds. In Italy, the sun began to dip below the horizon. Brooke sat, wrapped in a tow d'L, her body trembling, not just from the cold, but from the emotional whiplash of the day. Ridge sat beside her, quiet. "Thank you," she said finally. "You didn't have to come." "I always come," he said, "so.ftly. I always will." She turned to look at him. "Even after everything?" He nodded. "Even then." Their eyes locked. The history between them, the decades of love and heartbreak, hung in the air like mist on the sea. And still, neither of them made a move. Not yet. A week of reckonings. The week of August 4th brought with it explosive truths, long overdue confessions, and near-death experiences that changed lives forever. Grace Buckingham's con was finally exposed, but the scars it left behind, on Liam, on Hope, and on Bill, would take much longer to heal. Finn proved himself a man of integrity, refusing to cover up wrongdoing even when it came from someone he once trusted. Lee's bedside vigil showed the strength of family as she refused to give up on Luna's recovery. And in Italy, Ridge's daring rescue reminded Brooke, and everyone watching, that sometimes, no matter how messy the past, love still runs deep. But what comes next? That's for the next storm to decide. Let me know if you'd like an image, headline graphic, or a shorter summary version for social media. Feel free to share any video requests in the comments. I'll try to make a video about it. Stay connected with the Glammed Rebel for all the latest updates, spoilers, and deep dive recaps. See you in the next video. Stay safe and healthy. May God keep you safe. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell button for daily updates.